Hello, how are you? I'm Julia, and for this video, I'm going to be talking about the Love and Chaos duology by Emery Rose. The first book in the duology is Wilder Love. So I just want to do a trigger warning really quickly. I talk about this later on, I'll put the time thing right here, but Remy, the main girl in this, is kind of coerced and blackmailed into having sex with someone that she doesn't particularly want to have sex with. So, if that makes you uncomfortable or you don't want to read that, it is in the book, so just an FYI. This follows Shane and Remy, and they have a slight, age gap. I think she's 16 and he's 20 or 21 when they meet. Remy and her mom and her brother moved to California, where Shane is from, and he teaches her how to surf and do all these things, and kind of gets her to know the town that she's just moved to. So yeah, and then they have a relationship and things progress and bad things happen. There is a time jump in this, I think 7 years. I read this in March, so I've obviously been procrastinating, but I didn't really like this. I gave it 2.5 stars. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. So let's talk about it. This will also contain spoilers because I'm not good at not having spoilers. So Remy moves to this town, and they her and Dylan, her brother, have kind of a neglectful mom. She kind of just moves them around a lot and doesn't really keep a steady job, or she just doesn't know how to be a mom, and so they kind of have to take care of themselves, and Shane kind of steps in and helps them. He is in the running to be a professional surfer, and he goes on trips. I don't know anything about surfing, so I can't really explain this, but he basically goes on trips to compete, to go to nationals and stuff, so he can get sponsors, that's the word. And he kind of helps them out, Dylan and Remy, out with rent and things like that. And he kind of becomes her boyfriend, but without actually saying that he's her boyfriend because of the age thing. Because I had to look this up because I was like, yo, that's crazy. In California, in some states, if you're under the age of 18, I think in Michigan, which is where I live, if you're 16, you can consent to having sex with someone over the age of 18. So, but in California, you cannot consent until you're 18. So you both have to be the same age, or you have to be 18 to consent to someone who's 25. You have to legally be an adult. So obviously this is an issue for them. Tristan, who is the villain in this, he finds out about Shane and Remy. Tristan does not like Shane. Tristan's dad is one of Shane's sponsors. So Tristan finds out, and he's listen, because he likes Remy, but he doesn't want to like Remy because she's that girl on the other side of the tracks, and he's this rich boy who's annoying. So he's listen, you sleep with me or I tell the police and my dad, and Shane loses all of his sponsors, and it'll be all your fault. So dumbass sleeps with him. Shane finds out, and spoiler, gets into a fight with Tristan and ends up killing him. It's not funny, but it's funny because what? It was the most dramatic thing in the entire world and completely unnecessary. Call somebody's bluff or tell Shane. That's what I would have done. I would have been do it. And then we can deny it. but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Something that I didn't like about this, well, I didn't really like any of it, but, the time jumps in the first part, because this is split into 2 parts. I can't remember if I said that, but, it's split into 2 parts, and so the first part, I think, is, like, over a year and a half, 2 years. So she goes from 16 to, like, 18, like, she graduates from high school and stuff. This is kind of wrong. She doesn't graduate from high school until after Shane and Tristan get into that fight. So she's not 18 yet until after Shane goes to jail for, like, manslaughter or something. So she's technically not legal yet. The time jumps in this were strange. Because, like, one chapter we'd be in July, and then the next chapter we would be in, like, October, but there would be no, like, you know how some books, like, when they change months, they, like, put it at the beginning of a chapter, so it would be, like, July, and then chapter 15 would say October, because we've jumped. That didn't happen in this. Like, you had to figure out what month they were in yourself, which is fine. Like, I'm not stupid, but, like, it just makes, like, sometimes you just want to read a book where you don't have to think, and, like, it made you have to think to be like, okay, how old is she? What's happening? Which I just found frustrating, but that's just me. I think the author did the time jumps to make the relationship between Remy and Shane appear more realistic, because she was trying to, like, age Remy up so that they weren't illegal, but that didn't work, obviously. I didn't think it was necessary, considering the whole Tristan, like, side plot, so I don't know. Yeah, so I say in my review that I didn't actually know how long Remy had been in California until part 2 of the story. So, and I think I said this, but I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. So the first part of this book, it was just dramatic and annoying and completely unnecessary, in my opinion. Tristan was a nuisance, and, like, his plot line was unnecessary. So I also did not care about him. Like, you know how in books when a villain dies that you, like, actually despise? You're just like, yes, thank God, he's gone, he's dead. See you later. Like, see you never again. But, like, I didn't give a shit that he died. I was just like, oh, okay, carry on. She just didn't write it well. Part 2, it's a jump, 7 years. Shane goes to jail. Remy becomes a model and is, like, she goes home. She, like, quits her modeling job and goes back to California. And she's, like, trying to repair her relationship with Shane, even though he's, like, he doesn't want to. Apparently I hated part 2. So I really enjoyed this, apparently, until the last 50 pages. The execution was really bad, apparently. I don't remember this, but, the author brought back Tristan's parents for, like, a chapter, and I can't remember why. I can't remember why Tristan's parents are involved. I'm assuming it has to do with the murder, but, I don't understand what I'm saying. There's apparently a plan. I don't know anything about the plan, but apparently we don't get any info about the plan. So, I don't know. Sorry. The side characters in this, Remy's best friend, Sienna, she was actually the worst. I did not like her at all. She starts dating Dylan, who is Remy's brother. I actually liked the relationship between Remy and Dylan. As little as we did get of them and side characters, I thought it was a good relationship. I thought it was written okay. Considering, like, she wrote it well with, like, them being close considering their situation. That's what I was trying to get to. So sometimes I really like having side characters, and other times I don't really like having side characters. This was a book that I wanted side characters. Shane has a best friend, Travis, and as I said, Remy, or Sienna. So Sienna and Dylan are, like, sleeping together, but we don't know that they're sleeping together until she's literally shipped off for getting caught with him in her room. Which was just dumb. A lot of things in this book just came out of nowhere. And it was like, what? And it was just, it wasn't executed well. And then something that Dylan, he's, like, kept very mysterious. Even though, like, at the beginning, part 1, very early on, is what I was talking about with, like, their relationship, liking it and stuff. He does, like, to make money, he's doing things secretly, and he's not telling Remy about it, and I understand why he's not telling Remy about it, but it was still dumb, and it's kind of just like, dude, just, like, tell your sister so she gets off your back. Like, you both know you need the money. He also didn't tell her that he was with her best friend, which I guess is fine, but I don't know. Oh, okay, so, and then to step into, so anyway, I did not like this. It was not good. Read it, don't read it, it's completely up to you. I personally was not a fan. I don't think it's really worth the read. So to jump into Sweet Chaos, which follows Dylan, Remy's twin brother, so this one was also a doozy. Let me find it. Where is it? So Sienna, Dylan's on and off girlfriend, Remy's best friend, has a sister named Scarlett. She is not mentioned. She is not even hinted at until the epilogue of Wilder Love. And she is extremely involved in Shane and Remy's life. She works for them, like, it's weird. I didn't like how that happened. Like, it was another thing that just kind of came out of left field, and you were like, what? So this follows Dylan and Scarlett. This is the 7-year jump. Dylan, I think it leaves off, like, it starts kind of in the middle of, I mean, no, it doesn't. I can't remember where it starts, but in the time jump in Wilder Love, there's, things are happening in this timeline. Does that make sense? Like, things are going on with Dylan in that book that we obviously don't see, but it happens in this book. Like, we get the story in this one. I hope that makes sense. So just an FYI for people who are triggered by things, there is a suicide in this. We aren't there when it happens, but it is explained. Like, Dylan, their mother kills herself, and then Dylan finds her. So we are, like, we do see some things, but it's still a suicide. Like, we still are in his head when he finds his mom. So just an FYI, little disclaimer, spoiler alert. It's not really a spoiler, but yeah. This review is completely shorter than the first one. I liked this one a lot better than the first. The writing seemed better than the first, and the problem seemed much more realistic. So I don't really have much to say. I didn't write a really long review like the first. But I like this one a lot better. I thought Sienna, she's not really in this, but she is, like, an issue. But Scarlett and Dylan, he like snuck into her room one night, like trying to get to Sienna's room, and she had a crush on him ever since. And so their relationship kind of starts from there, but not really. Like, she just has a crush and he like doesn't really care about her, until he goes to Remy and Shane's surf shop one day, and she's working there because she's an artist, and she's not really her parents' favorite because she's doing something that is unconventional. Like, she's trying to be like a painter and get her art out there. So he is actually extremely successful. He owns like a computer business app thing. He's an entrepreneur. I don't know. But he makes a shit ton of money. Yeah, so I guess I don't really have much to say about this one. I think my only issue with this was Sienna. I thought she was pointless because I don't really care about her. I didn't know her that well from Wilder Love, and I don't really know her that well from this because she's not really in it. And then when she is in it, it's because she comes back, she finds out that Dylan and Scarlett are kind of a thing, and to hurt her sister, she makes out with Dylan, and Scarlett sees it. It just felt like the author brought her back to create a tiny problem that was unnecessary, but it had been leading up to it. So I understand, but I also felt like it was dumb and pointless because she came back to create a problem with an ex-boyfriend when she's literally engaged to another man. And it creates a problem, but it's not really a problem because Dylan is like, hey, this is what happened. And it was handled with maturity. You know, that's my thing. I love that. So I thought this one was loads better. I don't think you need to read the first one to read this, but you can. There will be some things that you don't understand, but it was better. I don't know. There was just, he's still kind of with Sienna. It's like, you know, that on and off again thing, and you're just like, dude, leave it alone. So, I can't remember anything else that happened. This, honestly, all in all, these books are kind of forgettable. Like, you put it down and you're like, there it is. I read it. So, read them, don't read them. It's completely up to you. That was a really short one. That was a really short review. But, I gave this one 4 stars. So, do you ever do that and you're like, let me rate this, and you rate it how you're feeling, and then you go back to it and you're like, 4 stars, really interesting, because I don't remember anything that happened, and my 4 stars, I usually remember things that happened. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz. All of my social medias will be linked down below. If you want to follow those, I'd greatly appreciate it. And that's it. I hope you're reading and still staying safe. Okay, bye.